Hello, class. I want to show you this article here. It's on diamonds and diamonds becoming semiconductors. So I think it's an interesting article. Right now, our computer technology is based off of transistor logic and silicon. So silicon, generally speaking, doesn't conduct electricity, but if you put behind it a potential of 5 volts, it will conduct. So when silicon does not conduct, that's a 0 in the logic, and when it does conduct, that's a 1. And that is the basis, more or less, of all our computer programming, is the 5 uh, volt band gap in silicon, and that runs all our various technologies, our bank passwords, the Apple computer that I have on here, our cell phones is all based off of that. And we typically use silicon in our computer chips. And this article explores, well, what if we use diamond instead? And diamond is a form of carbon. Graphite is usually kind of a hexagonal, and it kind of slides, and that's like the pencil lead. Even though we call it lead, it's really graphite. It's kind of slippery. It also so Graphite conducts electricity. Diamond, on the other hand, does not conduct electricity, but it is very, very high thermal conductor. So it's a very, very large amount of thermal conductivity. And one of the things about using diamond as substrates in computers is that the diamonds can take the heat away from anything really quickly or really easily. So remember, I mentioned we had another article on the copper Godzilla fins about cooling down data centers. So diamond's even better than copper when it comes to thermal conductivity. So if you read the article, you'll see things like it's an insulator. Diamond's an insulator to electricity and electrical conduction. Diamonds are extremely good thermal conductors. And have you ever heard diamonds called ice before? Because if you hold diamond in your hand, or especially on your tongue, if you have a big chunk of diamond you put on your tongue, it feels cold. As long as the ambient temperature is below body temperature. And so that's why it's called ice. And that's because they tend to be clear too. It's like these magic rocks that are always cold, is what we always liked about diamonds. But now they also sparkle a lot, but we always thought they were magic. The Romans would give diamond engagement rings because they thought diamonds were magic. They thought gold was magic too because it didn't rust. But diamonds are magic because of these properties. And the article goes through a couple things about adding various other elements like nitrogen and boron. We think we might be able to use it for quantum computing. So, for instance, we can keep diamonds at a relatively high room temperature for quantum computing, whereas silicon, we have to cryogenically cool it. So that's a big save in energy. So as we develop more quantum computing methods, diamond would be better. And also, the Robusta here mentions about Fukushima, Japan, and high levels of radiation, so it can make some really robust semiconductors. Of course, there would be issues with that with warfare, right? This is the kind of thing that you want. We in the United States were worried for a bit because the MiG jets used to be run off of vacuum tubes rather than semiconductors, whereas our aircraft use semiconductors, which means the old MiGs, are immune to an EMP pulse from a nuclear weapon. So using diamond things might make things less susceptible, or even immune from an EMP from a nuclear bomb. So that's probably where they're going with that, but that's not where they mention it here. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see, especially in California. You got the Silicon Valley. Oh, and EVs. Mentioned here, I didn't know this about Tesla, but using transfer huge voltages. So losing 10% from the battery for electric cars. Tesla used silicon carbide and upgraded the efficiency to 95%, so a 5% loss. But using diamond could raise the efficiency to 99%, so 1% or less loss. So that's huge, right? So that would allow much longer range for a car. I mean, imagine just by changing material that you up the the efficiency by that much. So that's really nice. So it's an interesting article. It makes us think about like where the future has to go. So I know maybe it won't be called Silicon Valley anymore. Maybe it'll be Diamond Valley or something. That's kind of a cool name. I wouldn't mind living in Diamond Valley. So although we consider diamonds to be luxury materials, but diamonds are very useful. They're very hard, and they're very good thermal transfer. And now it looks like we're looking at to use them as semiconductors and holders for things like the qubits for quantum computers. So interesting to see where things are going. So the course is almost over, just next week, the 30th, and so I'm getting emails now saying I must submit my grades really quickly. So they even like they hope you can hopefully you can do it within one day. So the administration's really pushing me to submit the grades. With that in mind, I have to submit grades really quickly. So try to get things done as quickly as you can. I mentioned this to a few students. Something I always do for students: if you score higher on the final, I can use your final score to replace your test scores and your homework grades. So the thing with this class, though, it's a lecture lab combo. So you have to do the lab stuff. So make sure that you do the Labster simulations. So honestly, if you did the Labster simulations in the final, that's all you really need to do. Of course, the homework and the tests, prepare you for all that. So I know some of you are running out of time, you can focus the class on your final, but also still do the Labster simulations because those are needed for the lab portion of your grade. Also, finals are it's a tough time, and this is a tough class. Freshman general chemistry, Chem 1A. This is one of the more hated classes in the university experience, and it's because you go through so many different mental models, and you're taking this in a quick summer class, so it's hitting you pretty hard. So make sure, protect your sanity, especially now near the end. So as we're approaching the final week, I know I'm recording this now, but the final week is coming soon. It's coming next week. And you can probably see I'm recording this on Wednesday, July 22nd. Next week is the final week. It's not even a full week. It's just into the 30th. But anyways, not trying to raise your blood pressure, but it's important that you look after yourselves, look after your own sanity. So that means if for whatever authority I have, I give you permission to be selfish and to do self-care as much as you can. And also, you don't have to volunteer for anything. Like, say that your neighbor is moving, you don't have to volunteer to help your neighbor move. You can just say, look, I got a really busy week, I got to take care of this. You don't have to take up the extra shift at work. If you're on a diet, you can, unless the diet is something like, I'm gluten intolerant, for instance, and I'm not going to if I take on gluten for a week, it'll cause more problems than alleviate, kind of thing. But if you're on a diet, it's okay to cheat a little bit. You can have some fast food, have a few donuts. So actually have a few donuts for me, even if you're not on a diet, because I can't eat them anymore. So, but yeah, do whatever it takes to keep yourself sane, because it's stressful. Finals are stressful, and it's tough, and it's important that you stay sane. And of course, you can't keep that up forever. That's kind of being a jerk if you just self-involved all the time. But it's okay for a short period of time. So you can next week help your neighbor move. Next week, not next week. Next week after next week, I should say. 2 weeks from now, help your neighbor move. 2 weeks from now, go on that awesome diet, the paleo vegetable diet, right? So then do it then, but enjoy a little bit of freedom in the meantime. So, of course, if anything happens, if you're taking the final and something happens, let me know and we can fix it right away. Don't stress about that. Don't stress about the small things like that. The course, things that happen, like when we had the hiccup last week with with Pearson deciding to do maintenance and then things shutting down for a day and a half. Something like that happens, we can work around it. Don't worry about it, and I'll be in touch and make sure everything gets sorted. So if that happens, don't stress about it. And so don't stress about those little things. We can sort them out. Uh, Stress about learning the material and doing well. That's what I want you to focus on. And everything else we can deal with later. Okay? So, and of course, if anything happens outside of things, if you're dealing with worsening mental health problems, lack of basic needs, which unfortunately sometimes happens quite, I've noticed an uptick in things happening when times are stressful. I mean, that's just human nature, I suppose. So don't be afraid to contact me. I'll do what I can to help you. So, okay. Sorry to talk a little long, but I'm just trying to look after you guys as much as I can. So take care of yourselves and let me know if you need any help with anything. Aloha.